Hey guys, how you going? This is BillyEatWorld again, and today we're finally going to take a first look at the LMGs in BF1. And to kick off this category, the one I thought we'd cover first is the Madsen, because as you might remember, it was one of my favourite guns back in the beta. With that being said though, you might also remember I was actually playing on the PS4, and now I'm mostly playing on the PC. So the question is this gun as good as I thought it was? And even more importantly, does the platform make a difference? Well, in a nutshell, yes it does, because even before you get into the stats, the problem with this gun and the LMGs in general is being able to see your target. Because not only does the Madsen have a huge magazine coming out the top, all the LMGs now create a ridiculous amount of muzzle flash. On console, that's not such a huge deal because the aim assist has a way of locking onto your target once you've aimed down sights, but as you'll see in this video, on PC you've really got to rely on hip fire a lot more often, among other things which we'll talk about in just a minute. Now, to kick off in terms of stats, well, it's pretty obvious to see why the Madsen is one of the better LMGs, because it's kind of similar to an AR in BF4. And what I mean by that is that it fires at 540 RPM and deals a very similar max damage of 23 out to 15 meters, which drops off to 17.5 at about 28 meters. Also, it's got a 31 round capacity and uses box magazines, which means that it's got a relatively fast reload time of 2.45 seconds. And also, in terms of accuracy, it's probably closest to something like a carbine in BF4 with a standing spread of 0.3 and a moving spread of 0.5. When I say close though, I don't mean exactly the same, because the average BF4 carbine actually had a moving spread of about 0.8. And not just that, they also had hipfire spreads of anywhere between 1.5 and 2.5, whereas the Madsen is something like 1 to 1.5 depending on the variant. The big nerf though is that although its max damage, like I said, is very similar to an AR or a carbine, the damage drop off is a lot quicker. So in a nutshell, I guess the best way to sum up this gun is that it's more accurate than a carbine in BF4, but it also deals a lot less damage at longer ranges. Now, the other big difference between the LMGs in BF1 and BF4 is that now they actually have a negative spread increase. And what that basically means is that unlike in the last few games, your shots actually get more accurate the longer you hold down the trigger. Personally, I think this is a pretty stupid mechanic because, well, it doesn't really make any sense, but in any case, I guess we're kind of stuck with it. And so the big thing you've got to bear in mind with this is that it means you'll be walking your fire a lot more often, which means wasting a lot more ammo. This has probably got a lot to do with why I probably think the Madsen is one of the best LMGs for new players. Because not only does it have a decent hipfire spread, like I said, it's also got that 31 round capacity and a relatively decent reload speed. What that means is that although it doesn't have the fastest DPS and it's not the best for suppressing, all in all, it's one of the best all-round LMGs in the game. And that in itself is usually enough, because a gun that works most of the time on most of the maps is generally better than a gun that dominates only on certain types of maps. Now, to finish up, I should point out that although I did have quite a bit of success with this gun, I didn't really like it that much on a mode like Rush. And that's because at the moment it seems like this mode is dominated by snipers and medics, in particular on PC, which the Madsen just can't compete with. Also, on the other hand, on TDM for example, you're more than likely going to be getting owned by SMGs and shotguns. But with that being said, I think it did work a lot better on domination because, as it turns out, this mode uses a lot more of the map area than TDM does. Also, just before we finish up in terms of variants, well, they're all pretty similar, but I think of the three, probably the Storm suited me the best. And that's mainly because the recoil is a bit lower on this model, but with that being said, you might prefer the Trench because it's got slightly better hipfire. Either way though, I don't think it really matters a huge amount anyway, and at the end of the day, it's really just going to come down to your personal playstyle. So if you haven't already, then I'd say just give them a try and see what you think, because like I said, the Madsen is a great all-round gun, and I can promise you it won't let you down. But anyway, guys, I think that just about brings you up to speed with the Madsen. So let me know what you think of this gun in the comment section below. And as always, if you like what you see, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check out the links in the description below if you want to see any more of my videos, or if you want to support my channel on Patreon. And until next time, see you later, and have a good one.